Today's review is M7 Oud Absolu by Yves Saint Laurent. This is part of a brand new product line featuring 8 re-released perfumes. The first thing you'll notice about Oud Absolu is the brand new bottle design. Cubic glass, 80ml, slightly smaller than the 100ml bottle with Tom Ford design, which is a tough act to follow in terms of presentation. But if you do take this into isolation, I'm sure you'll enjoy this presentation as well. Still an odor-toilette concentration. And the second thing to mention is the streamlined note list on this bottle. The notes are actually listed on the side here: mandarin, oud, patchouli, labdanum and myrrh. This fragrance opens up with a black, mirror-like reflective texture which reminds me of volcanic glass. The mandarin in this bottle offers a lacquer or a gloss to charred woods underneath that surface. I'm getting subtleties coming through immediately. There's a bitter sweetness straight out of the bottle with this product, which gives you an almost cappuccino-like effect, in theory at least. And you're also going to notice a subtle spiciness and very small nuances which will differ to everybody's nose. I get bitter chocolate, a kind of weird latex feel, and also raw licorice sticks. The texture soon mattifies into a deep, dense wood infused with clean, resinous, ceremonial smoke. After around 3 hours, the obscurities of the oud will subside and you'll be left on the cusp of a beautiful amber transition. The labdanum in this bottle will eventually usher out all other notes, but there is a watermark of oud, of the preceding notes, which will persist. Transitions occur fast in this bottle, and the longevity on my skin is around 8 hours. This fragrance is sensual and heroic, evokes a strong sense of historical and cultural heritage, and presents a much more refined face than its predecessor did. The tonality of this fragrance has also changed since the original. You could actually say that this fragrance has now moved away from the tenor end of the choir and is sitting at the bass now. The harsh aggressiveness of the original is gone. This is by far a much more safe, toned down, controlled fragrance than M7 was. But by no means does that mean it's domesticated or tame. This is still giving you what you want from M7. It's actually giving me more of what I want. In terms of usage, I feel this fragrance best resonates with the sharply dressed man. If you're my kind of age, 30 years plus, I do think this would be a fantastic fragrance to stand out with. M7's always been a fantastic cold weather scent, and this is no exception either. You are also going to get more chances to use Oud Absolu than you did with the original, I feel. This is a lot less aggressive, a lot less controversial than M7 Classic. So for that reason, I do feel that this is very appropriate as an everyday scent, work scent, close quarters, romantic. All those applications I do feel are now possible with this fragrance, whereas before they may have been a little bit edgier decisions to make. Having said that though, if you are trying to get noticed in passing footfall or within a static crowd, I would still point you towards M7 Classic for that style of wear. What do I think of when I smell M7 Oud Absolu? To me, this one is referencing the same alchemical subterranean underworld that M7 did. However, this one is really carving out new mental spaces within that blueprint. I think of an obsidian chamber structured with black ebony wood, columns running all the way down, black wooden decking, reflections from the black glassy stone, the volcanic rock. And this room is lit by huge bronze burners in the corners, full of burning coal, resin chips getting thrown in, robed figures everywhere in this room. Some of them are just burning out huge symbols into blocks of wood, some ancient form of pyrography, maybe something like that. And the focal point of this room, right at the back, is a huge wall mural. The rock has been carved out and you have huge fossilized organisms, Orthoceras and Annamites. So that's the kind of impression I get here. Refined, constructed lavishness paired with cryptic obscurities. That would be my analogy for M7 Oud Absolu. This is everything that I would consider to be desirable about our modern idealistic visions of historical societies and even the natural world. There is not only one single cultural aesthetic that you can label this fragrance with. Either it's very evocative in that sense. You could smell it and think of Grecian, Celtic, Nordic, even Middle Eastern or Southeast Asian influences. So in that regard, it's stylistically comparable to something like the movie 300, let's say. But in terms of how this fragrance carries itself, I would say that it's the Xerxes to M7's Leonardus. Scoring M7 Oud Absolu, I would give this fragrance 9.5 out of 10. First and foremost, I think it's great to see the M7 name being supported in UK stores, especially considering the lack of relative exposure it's had over the last few years here. Secondly, I think that the entry point for this fragrance has been considerably widened with this release. Not only is this going to appeal to the newer fans, I do actually see this perhaps bringing back some more savvy customers who perhaps have rejected it under a previous guise. Thirdly, I think that this fragrance has got a significantly different character and an improved character at that. This to me is really coming off as a more refined, a more sexy fragrance, very sensual, that I would happily put next to Dior Homme Intense or L'Instant Extreme in terms of its character and appeal. I really do think this is a very wearable fragrance, very successful, and an improvement in its concept. And I think a lot of users and recipients will definitely be able to relate to this on a deep level. Thanks for watching. 9.5 for Oud Absolu. See you later.